So I was browsing eBay one day and came across this, an interesting Game Boy Advance multicart with 150 NES and 106 Sega Master System games on it. I mean, it was only $16.99 and the shipping was free, so I figured it was totally worth checking out, even if it ended up being fake or garbage. The only downside is that it was shipping from Hong Kong and got stuck in customs. Needless to say, I ordered it on 13 March and it didn't arrive till 30th of June. It's crazy. Also, according to eBay, the user is no longer registered because I wanted to leave a quick feedback upon receipt but couldn't. So I started to wonder if the whole firewall China enacted on Hong Kong has pretty much straight up blocked a ton of sellers. Possibly, but I'm kind of unsure at this point. So to make sure the cartridge works, I broke out the old DS, which hasn't been used in probably 6 months, but the batteries Nintendo used are so amazing that it still fires up and lasts a long time regardless. The cart works just fine. It's booting up. Startup screen is good. So now I'm just gonna try it out on my original Game Boy Advance that I got back in 2002. Try this out here. Yep, works just fine. And we're good to go. I'll check out how it performs. Startup is simple, quick select of which system to play. So we'll check out the NES library. A neat feature of this emulator program is when you arrow down the games, the game you have highlighted actually starts running in the background. So when you select it, it goes right to it. It is really a slick feature. So to bring up the options or the emulator settings, you just hit the L button followed by R at the same time, and it brings it up. So you've got a lot of really cool settings. Got rapid fire, which you can set to each of the buttons on or off. You've got the display settings, to which you can stretch the screen or set it on follow. There's the VSync and even a frames per second meter, which I find kind of funny to have on an emulator system like this. And you have your typical save states. Just gonna load up Mega Man, check it out, so you can see how fast it comes up. Yeah, it's pretty nice. So now I'll just go back to the save state load. Try out Ninja Gaiden. For some reason it froze. At least this one froze on me. That was the first time that actually happened. Yeah, Double Dragon 2 started up perfectly. So you can kind of see down at the bottom of the screen that the compression with the display cut off like a line of pixels. I noticed this in a few games. Not all the games had it. A large majority of the NES games did have like a line of pixels missing, at least in one or two spots of the screen. And I think it was due to the basically they had to compress that display ratio, and that's what I'm pointing at right there. So when I tried to mess with the display settings for the scaling, I just couldn't find like that happy medium to where I could get rid of that. Get rid of that line that was missing. So I'm just going to run through this level real fast. And controls, everything is like spot on. I mean, I had no problems playing it. I didn't experience too much slowdown on some of the games where you actually, there's so much going on the screen that you experience a slowdown. But I haven't really toyed around with many of the games yet to try and push it. I know there's certain parts in like the first level of Contra where the game kind of slows down because there's so much going on the screen at once. So maybe I'll have to try that out and see what happens. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get like a no-hit run on that stage. It's pretty cool. So restart, go back to the menu, check out a few of the other games. I mean, there's a good amount. I mean, it's got all the best of the NES library in there, and there's even a few obscure ones that I've never played before or even heard of. DuckTales, great game. So this one I had to try because I just never heard of it. Called Gun-Nac. The text and stuff was all messed up, so I couldn't even tell what I was pressing there. But it's actually a really, really good shooter. enough of this game. Do a quick save state, move along. So I have to restart it because it won't allow you to go back to the main menu, so you have to actually restart the system. We'll check out some of the Sega Master System library. I mean, growing up, I never really played the Sega Master System. I didn't really know anyone that had one. I grew up with mostly Nintendo. So getting to play a lot of these games was pretty cool. I mean, some of them look really great. I mean, I have to give it to Sega. They did a really good job on like design and colors and the way the games looked. But man, there's a lot of games in their library. A lot, I'd have to say. The majority of the ones that I picked to play, the control was just, it was so horrible. I mean, this is the Batman Forever game, which was already terrible. And it's got that Mortal Kombat clone fighting system to it. There's nothing special. I mean, everything was just so delayed when I was doing it. I got to the end of this hallway and had no idea how to go up or how to shoot the grappling hook thing or where to go. It was just terrible. I mean, I was pushing all the buttons too. Hitting select. I couldn't get anything to work. So I said, nah. So the block, you can hit R to block, but even that combined with other buttons still wasn't doing anything. So I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna move along to something else. Captain America and the Avengers. This was like one of my favorite beat 'em ups in the arcade. But I mean, this iteration, I mean, it looks good. I mean, look at the colors. Graphics are nice, but it was so terrible. And I could not even get through the first stage. It was so bad. Your attacks are so limited. I mean, it's nothing like the arcade beat 'em up. It is pretty disappointing. Yeah, I can't take any more of that. I'll move on to something else. Good old Earthworm Jim. So on the Sega Master System side, I didn't get the same pixel line, like tear or the missing pixels with the display on the Sega Master System side, and it also has different settings as well. The Sega Master System version of this game, the controls were just so wonky compared to, obviously, its superior, which would be the Genesis version. I mean, trying to grab on the stuff and like the hitboxes on enemies were just really, I couldn't like hit anything. It was pretty frustrating to play this game. One thing I did forget to mention was the gamma settings. You can actually adjust them manually through the settings rather than just the one button push on the front face of the Game Boy Advance. Trying out this James Bond game I never heard of. Man, it is terrible. I mean, the walking animation, he's so slow. And it was so hard to hit anything. I mean, for a platformer, and I don't know. I couldn't imagine paying, back in the day, $40, $50, and then you get this, or even renting it. I would have been so pissed off. The control is so frustrating. I just give up. Like, screw that. Moving on. Good loo. The CK was cut off from that. Early rail shooter. Turning on the turbo definitely helps for this part. Yeah, another terrible game. So that's really it. I mean, it's not. This is really good. I mean, I only paid 16 something bucks for it. I mean, you can't beat that for the amount of games and on the go, save states, all the settings available and options. I mean, it's totally worth it. So the Sega Master System, the emulator program that's running on the cartridge is the FluBBa Power 2008, FluBBa Power. And it's the version 2.5. And then the NES emulator program is the PocketNES 2013 on it as well. It's really cool how they were able to split the program though. So far it's really awesome. I'm having fun with it, and I'll definitely take it with me. Definitely not going to be playing this game a whole lot. Ugh. Yeah, that's a hard pass. Well, until next time.